Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Hello guys, what is going on? And welcome back to more baseball news. This is the Club of the Man 1993. And before I finally wrap up in my series of catching up on some baseball news from the offseason so far, we're wrapping it up by talking about three more retirements from three solid players. One's not going to be retiring until after baseball season, which is not in the majors, it's in the Korean Baseball League. The other two is from Major League Baseball. And all three of these guys definitely had some very solid, underrated careers. Probably not Hall of Famers, but still very good careers for sure. That they deserve to be honored and briefly talked about. So we're going to talk about them briefly in this video. And we will, for the first time in a while, be caught up on baseball highlights. So, the first one is Shin-Soo Choo, who has not played in the majors, I believe, since either 2020 or 2021. But he's returned back home to Korea, but he announced that 2024 will be his final season playing professional baseball. He's 41 years old now, and he's played in the Korean Baseball Organization for the last 3 years, and he'll spend one more year with the Landers before hanging it up. Choo, for Major League Baseball, he had 275 with 1,652 games played from 2005 to 2020. He's probably known for most of his time, and his best years are probably with the Cleveland Indians. He was originally an international signing by the Seattle Mariners back in 2000. He did make it to the majors, I think, in 2005, which I just said, actually. And he spent parts of his first two Major League campaigns with the Mariners before he was traded to the Cleveland Indians in July of 2006. And I believe he was traded for Ben Broussard, if I'm not mistaken. So he was traded for Broussard. And then again, he was definitely a big contributor for the Tribe. However, eventually when the Tribe started to fall out of contention, though, that's when the numbers for him, the money he wanted, weren't adding up. So in December 2012, he was actually part of a 3-team, 9-player deal as he was sent to the Reds, and also the Diamondbacks were involved in the trade as well in December of 2012. And his only season in Cincinnati was definitely one of his best. Actually, it was the best of his career. He had 285 that season with 21 home runs and stole 20 bases and got 712 plate appearances. I believe when the Pirates played the Reds in that outstanding wild card game in 2013, I believe he did have one of the 2 runs, which was a solo home run I believe Choo had. Of course, he then reached free agency, and then he went on to sign a 7-year, $130 million deal with the Texas Rangers. Unfortunately, though, it didn't work out for him there. He was injured a lot, and he had decline in the glove, and then of course, he was part of the Rangers, though, contending in 2015 and 2016. But after that, though, the Rangers didn't have another winning record the whole time while Choo was there. Until, of course, they won the World Series this past year, but Choo was long gone. After only getting limited interest during the 2020-2021 offseason, he then decided to return back, though, to Korea, where he finished his career there. Again, of course, this will be his last season, so he still has to play it. I think he definitely had a solid career for sure in the majors, especially while with the Indians, and his lone season, of course, with the Reds as well. Again, Rangers didn't quite pan out because of his injuries and declining skill, but I still think Shin-Soo Choo definitely did have a solid career for sure. So congratulations, Shin-Soo Choo. Hopefully you have a strong final season in professional baseball, and I wish you the best in your retirement. Next one, we got a former 4-time Gold Glover, Andrelton Simmons. Shortstop announced his retirement, and apparently the last time he appeared in the majors was July of 2022. Simmons was a second-round draftee of the Braves in 2010 out of Oklahoma Junior College. And, of course, at first I think he was going to be a pitcher, but then, of course, with his arm strength, the Braves struck him as a shortstop. And, of course, he did not disappoint for sure. So he was definitely one of the best defensive players for sure when he played. Decent with the bat, like typical for, shortstop, about 250. Got like around 15 homers and whatnot. And of course he won 4 Gold Gloves, like I said. He had signed, of course, a 7-year deal at one point with the Braves as well. And did a lot of eye-popping years. And then during the 2015-2016 offseason, though, whenever the Braves were starting to hit a little bit of a rebuild as they were starting to get a downfall, the Braves traded Simmons to the Los Angeles Angels, where he did offer some typical, seasons below average, winning 2 more Gold Gloves, got in the top 15 in the AL MVP balloting in 2017-2018, and still put on some, again, solid numbers with the Halos. After he left the Halos after the 2020 season, he signed with the Twins, and he continued to play some stellar defense. His offense though started to decrease a little bit, and then he would then also have a deal with the Cubs following that. In 2022, though, when he hit just 173 in 35 games, and the Cubs would then release him. Of course, he did not re-sign with any major league team after that. Again, 11 major league teams overall, though. He had over 4,800 plate appearances, hitting 263, 70 homers. Was very reliable, of course, in the field, especially, of course, as one of the best defensive shortstops for sure at his time. So, again, definitely more of a defensive player rather than known for his offense, but Andrelton Simmons was definitely a valuable player for the Braves, of course, and the Angels. Again, he had a brief stint with the Twins, brief stint with the Cubs, but, again, he was definitely a valuable piece for sure. And we definitely wish him the best as well in his retirement. I don't know how old he is, but I don't know. But yes, he has decided to move on to the next part in his life. And finally, just announced, I think it was on Friday, Michael Brantley. Despite some interest, though, from the Toronto Blue Jays, the 36-year-old has decided to retire after a 15-year major league career, and he definitely had a very underrated career as well. He was 36 years old. He was definitely one of the best hitters in the league, but of course his health has been a significant issue in recent years. He played just 64 games in 2022 with some shoulder discomfort, had surgery, and then he had some lingering issues in 2023, and he didn't get back to the majors until late August this past season. He made only 57 appearances in 15 games and hit just 179 when he got to the postseason. Again, the Blue Jays apparently had some interest in grabbing him, but instead he decided to hang up his spikes. I didn't realize this, though, but Michael Brantley was actually originally drafted by the Brewers in 2005. He was part of the CC Sabathia deal when the Indians traded Sabathia to the Brewers in a trade that sent Brantley, Matt Laporta, and a few other prospects. And Brantley did find his home, of course, and again was starting off solid, hitting 280 from 2011 to 2013, and then of course he did was impressive that they signed a 4-year extension going into the 2014 season. And it paid off. I mean, he was hitting about 15, 20 home runs a season. Of course, he was hitting over 300 several times, stealing about a handful of bases. Like, the batting average was always his strong suit. And, like the other stuff with the power, the stolen bases, like he contributed a little bit with it. He wasn't like a massive base stealer or a massive power hitter, but he still contributed for sure as well, making him, again, an MVP caliber player. He even finished third in 2014's MVP voting behind Victor Martinez and Mike Trout, which is saying something. Of course, he produced similarly in 2015. Although he did deal some injuries and had shoulder surgery after 2015, and he only played in 11 games in 2016, getting a second surgery as well. He's, of course, missed the Indians, playoff run that year where they did go to Game 7 with the Chicago Cubs and fell short. And even though an ankle injury that went into about 90 games in 2017, he still hit about 299 though, and was able to bounce back in 2018, hitting 309 as well, getting more of a longer season as well. He would then reach free agency and then sign with the Houston Astros for a 2-year deal, and he continued to produce well with them as well, hitting 309 of course as well, getting another 2-year deal when he got another 311 season in 2021. Again, before, of course, his injuries caught up to him. Of course, he did get his World Series ring with the Astros in 2022, though, as he definitely deserved. And he had a total of 1,445 regular season games. He only struck out 10.7 times, though, in his career. Like the percentage of trips he went to the plate, he only struck out just that many times. That's how good of a contact hitter he was. He batted .298. Getting 1,656 hits, 348 doubles, 25 triples, and 129 home runs, 125 stolen bases, scored 758 runs, and drove in 720. Also played in 62 career postseason games between the two clubs he played for. Not a Hall of Famer. I mean, definitely some of his injuries, of course, cut him back. Like if he got maybe 2,000 hits or so, maybe, because he was a special player. He was a very special player, good contact hitter, and he was an all-star too. But I don't think quite for Hall of Fame. But Michael Brantley as well, though, had a very, very underrated career for sure. An unsung hero, I would say, in baseball. And I wish him as well the best in his retirement. And with that, my friends, that does it for these baseball highlight videos. I'm happy to say for the first time in months, we are now caught up with all the stuff I want to talk about for baseball. I'm sure there will be some more with the last month and a half before spring training begins. Of course, there'll be more moves probably throughout spring training. So we'll see what happens again in the 2024 baseball season. But again, the Shin-Soo Choo, Andrelton Simmons, and Michael Brantley, wish you guys all the best in your retirements. So guys, once again, what are your thoughts on Michael Brantley announcing his retirement, Shin-Soo Choo, and Andrelton Simmons? Leave your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below, and be sure also as always to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter as well at the Club of the Man 93. You can also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at the Club of the Man 1993. And until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you guys all later. Have a great rest of your night, and do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself. And that is not just an opinion. That is a fact of life. Yeah!